Hello, everyone. This is Abby Small with MC Deck Discussions or Marvel Champions Deck Discussions, and we have, the beginnings of a deck to discuss today. So you probably know this from some other channels, and if you haven't seen it already in somebody else's channel, this will give you a chance to see it, or maybe get my take on it if you wish. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, it says Wakanda Forever because we have dropped a new Black Panther. And as you will see real quickly here, this is the Shuri version of Black Panther. So let's go ahead and take a look. First of all, I have to say the artwork here is just awesome. So both in this kind of landscape view of this top picture and in this one too. So I'm really enjoying the art quite a bit. I don't usually comment on the art, but I think this is really cool. And if you start reading this, you'll begin to see that the beginnings of when Shuri takes over as Black Panther, when her brother was severely injured. And then, so we have a fierce fighter, as fierce a fighter as her brother, she darts into battle as Black Panther with this expansion pack. So you can see a number of cards here that look promising. I think I'm going to zoom in a little more. There we go. Make that a little bigger for you to see. And we'll take a look at these as they get shown below, or hopefully they'll all get shown below. So let's take a look at the beginnings here. And we can see we have the alter ego side, which has the traits Genius and Wakanda. And she has this inventor ability. Oh, notice she has a recovery of 4. And it's an action. And I think that's the same as the original Black Panther as well. Well, I'll have to check that later, I guess. So we can, this action, exhaust Shuri, search your deck for a Black Panther or tech upgrade and play it, reducing its resource cost by 2. So that's really nice. So Black Panther upgrade or a tech upgrade. So that means that she's going to have a lot of pretty cool options for deck building with some of those tech upgrades. So it should make for some real fun builds with regard to that. And every time she goes to alter ego, so she's going to want to go to alter ego pretty frequently, and which some of you may know, I do enjoy heroes where you can go to the alter ego side a lot. So that goes along with the way I would like to play a hero. So I'm looking forward to what we can do with that. And then over here on her hero side, you can see we have 2, 1, 2. So just a 1 attack, so not real big on the attack. For me, it's more important the 2 thwart, so I care more about that generally. So I'm glad to see that. And then she has a response on this side. And notice she is on her hero side, she has a trait of Wakanda. So the response, after Black Panther uses a basic power, resolve the special ability on 1 Black Panther upgrade you control. All right, so let's take a look and see what we can find out about the Black Panther upgrades here. And I've started to read this a little bit ago, but then I thought, you know what, let's just start taping this and seeing what we get as we go. Oh, I don't think I mentioned her traits on this side. Yes, Genius and Wakanda. So she has that Genius trait, which means she can take advantage of the strengths that geniuses can. So that's always a fun build for me. Had a couple of videos already posted with heroes that have Genius. So I very much like those kind of builds. And then let's see, it repeats some of what we said here. Black Panther, her special ability. Let's see. All right, so let's get into her Black Panther upgrades. So the special abilities on her Black Panther upgrades each provide a small normal benefit as well as a larger benefit that you can gain from discarding it. So let's look at this first one. So we have Cameo Beads. And we can see here, I think I'm going to zoom in a little further. There we go. All right, where are they? Here we go. Cameo Beads. All right, so you can see it's a 2-cost upgrade. Traits of Black Panther and tech. So notice that is not Wakanda. So this is not a situation where she can take advantage of the team building exercise that lets you play cards for a decreased cost because they're the same as the hero. So that's not going to be a thing on this one, but it looks like she has plenty of other traits that are strengths to begin with. So that might be a little overpowered. So a special thwart remove one threat from a scheme. You may discard this card to confuse an enemy. So let's start with that special thwart. So going back to her ability on her hero ability. So remember, this is a response after Black Panther uses a basic power. So she could be attacking, or she could be thwarting, or even defending. So that means on the villain's turn, and then be able to use this special here. So then she could remove a threat from a scheme, or you may discard this card to confuse an enemy, which is an interesting thing on defense, actually, because on defense, if she discards the card, then that means she can confuse the villain, and you don't have to worry about getting a surprise encounter card after the villain attacks you and end up, so the villain will be confused and be blocked from doing any kind of scheming afterwards. So that's a margin of safety even on the defensive end. So you don't have to have had the card already. You could have pulled the card. You could have already had your turn, pulled the card when you draw cards again to get ready for the villain's turn, and then have this in your hand and be able to have that extra margin of safety. Or you could have chosen to get the card in the first place, be using it regularly for thwart, and then when you need the confuse, you could use it in that instance. Actually, it looks like the card once again. So it says you get a normal benefit as well as a larger benefit from discarding it. So I wanted to make sure you could do both. Let's read it again. So here's the special: thwart, remove one threat from a scheme. So you get to do the remove one threat from a scheme no matter what, and then you may discard this card to confuse an enemy. So that's good. You get both benefits even if you discard the card. And the cool thing is you can keep getting these cards back. So a lot of times you might want to hold on to this card for a while, or maybe because maybe you already have the villain confused, or maybe early on in the game, a lot of times against villains, you really need that extra threat removal. So the card can be used flexibly for the way you need to. All right, looks like her next one here is Spider Bites, and this might be an alternative for attack maybe. So special: choose a player, deal 1 damage to the villain, and each minion engaged with that player. So that's pretty powerful. So it's not just 1 damage to the villain, it's also each minion engaged with that player. So good for multiplayer, of course. I play all solo, but great for getting rid of all those toughs, or just doing 1 damage to a bunch of cards. And you may discard this card to stun each of those enemies. So, wow, each of the enemies. So not just the villain. You can actually stun each of those enemies that either you are facing or another player is facing. So as a reminder here, so going back to the ability, it's after Black Panther uses a basic power, resolve the special ability on 1 Black Panther upgrade you control. So you can't do both. I am curious, though, about readying. So certainly there are some builds that we're going to want to have with readying to be able to use multiple abilities, multiple cards of those upgrades, their special abilities. But also, who knows if maybe there are any cards within her deck, either events or upgrades of her own, that allow her to ready. So that could be very interesting too. So let's see, what do we have next? All right, so that's it for so far 2 of the upgrades that have been shared. So now if we look, we can see how frequently, her signature events, Claude Strike. So let's look at that one. All right, so Claude Strike is a 2-cost event. It's an attack, hero action, attack, deal 4 damage to an enemy. So that's 2. So it's 4 damage for a cost of 2. So up front, that's not a lot of value. But then resolve the special ability on 1 Black Panther upgrade you control. So you have the ability to, so as long as you're keeping those upgrades in your hand, so there are times where you're going to want to use the special ability, but as long as you're keeping the upgrades in your hand, this means, at least for the 2 upgrades we've seen so far, that you can, it has flexibility. So it could be a total of 5 damage, and you get to do that extra 1 damage to, to all of the enemies for a particular, facing a particular hero, or you can remove 1 threat. So it gives you that added flexibility. So that's pretty cool. Did it say how many of those you have? It doesn't say yet, so and might not say at this point. All right, I wanted to go back and read something here, so I scrolled up. She has 4 Black Panther upgrades in total. So we've only seen 2. I assume that We may not see the other two at this point, and they'll be saved for later. So let's look at the next one. So another event, On the Prowl. So this is a 2-cost event, and this one's a thwart. Oh, here's that great art that we saw earlier. Hero action, thwart. Remove 3 threat from a scheme. So we've seen that on hero cards before. A cost of 2, remove 3, so nothing special really there. But then resolve the special ability on 1 Black Panther upgrade. So you can essentially turn it into a 2 for 4 threat removal. And again, you can remove that threat from a different scheme than the one that you just removed it from. Or again, you can trigger the damage instead. And of course, we still haven't seen the other 2 upgrades. All right, so that then leads us up to her brother T'Challa. So let's look here. So there's her signature ally, 4-cost ally, has 3 hit points, 2 thwart and 2 attack. So far, nothing real special there. Let's see what the rest is. So it has Genius trait and Wakanda. Hero response, after T'Challa uses a basic power, resolve the special ability on 1 Black Panther upgrade you control. Oh, so that is actually quite powerful. So even if we think of, let's say, the one that does 1 thwart, that means that T'Challa can do 3 thwart every time. Again, 2 thwart on 1 scheme and 1 thwart on another, or do, well, 3 to attack altogether on one enemy, and then 1 attack on all the other enemies that a particular hero is facing. So, or especially the hero you're facing, if it's happens to be that's the hero you chose. Okay, so that's very cool. So this could be T'Challa could be a good one to be able to heal some, to keep into play, add an upgrade, right? Especially, upgrades that add extra life, because this could be very powerful because you can trigger. So you could have Shuri, Black Panther, attacking, plus T'Challa attacking. So if both are out at the same time, you're getting to use those abilities multiple times, and again, using them with the events. All right, and then if you do decide to discard a Black Panther upgrade, Shuri can draw on her status as Aja Adana, or however that's pronounced, which is a 1-cost upgrade, title, action, exhaust Aja Adana, shuffle 1 identity-specific card from your discard pile into your deck. So not just the upgrades, but any of your identity-specific cards could be shuffled back into your deck. That's very cool. And then apparently, just like her brother, she can always draw on Vibranium. So she must have the same card her brother does? Yes. So Vibranium, which is the resource that gives you 2 wild resources. So that's always been a strong card in Black Panther's deck. And those of you who've seen my tier rankings know that Black Panther is not in my top tier of favorites to play. I can see where Shuri's version of Black Panther is probably, I'm going to like this even more than I like her brother, T'Challa. All right, so she can rely on, let's see, so she can draw on those. And of course, that would be another one that she could put back in her deck. That is one of my favorite things to do, actually, is if I can ever put resource cards back into my deck that are really effective resource cards, I like doing that to set up bigger plays, and to be able to afford those higher cost things or play multiple things, cards at a time. So to help, let's see. And then we have some extra cards. So these aren't from her own deck, but these are the cards that come with it. So let's check out what we have here in Justice. All right, nice. I like getting more Justice cards. So first we have this ally, the 3-cost ally, Manifold, and has 2 thwart, 1 attack, and I have a tendency to prefer higher thwart for a lot of allies. Not all of them, but I do like that. Only 2 life, so hopefully has a good effect here. Is an Avenger with Wakanda. Response, after Manifold enters play, choose a player. That player searches their deck and discard pile for a player side scheme and adds it to their hand. Very nice. So those of you who've seen my decks in some other discussion videos probably might have realized by now that I tend to include the player side schemes in pretty much all of my builds if I'm able to. So this is definitely a great card for any kind of build that I would be doing. And so the great thing is, so not only do you get to add that to your hand, assuming you can get it into play, Manifold then can do 2 thwart on it and help to get that that side scheme resolved or defeated. And then, of course, with Shuri would be able to handle the rest of that easily. And then we have a 2-cost support called the Raft. So it's a unique card, just like Manifold. And this is a shield location, which this is coming out with the, with the basically the shield wave. So that we have some extra support with regard to shield. So let's see what this one says. Response: after a minion leaves play, tuck it under here from the encounter discard pile. And then you can remove threat from a scheme equal to the tucked minion's printed scheme. If there are at least 4 minions here, deal 1 random minion here to any player as a face down encounter card. Oh, interesting. So there's kind of a limit to how far you can go with this card. So you can keep tucking minions in here, which is cool because you might remove some tough minions from the game altogether in addition to getting this benefit. But once you get to 4 minions, so let's see. So that's right after you tuck it here, remove threat. So after a minion leaves play, tuck it under here from the encounter discard pile. And then if there are at least 4 minions here, so yes, so right after you do that, you would then deal 1 random minion here to any player as a face down encounter card. So the great thing is you know which minion is coming, and if you are doing multiplayer, like say maybe playing with Thor, which actually even a single player build, this could be a great one for Thor, then you have the ability to, as you build these up, be able to get those minions back into play and trigger those abilities. Or if you're just choosing to get an encounter card out there that's like a weaker minion maybe to get rid of quickly. So there's some different options there. So no matter what, even before you get to 4 minions though, this is a pretty cool card because you get to choose the minion from the encounter discard pile, which means you're also choosing how much scheme you're removing. So you can do that strategically and try to remove exactly, get the exact one you want at the time. So you won't necessarily want to choose the most powerful one right at the beginning. You want to choose the right one at the right time. Then when you choose another one later that might be stronger when you need it. That might, remove more threat. So as it's saying here, actually, it comes with a pre-built Justice deck to help her dismantle the enemy's plans. All right, let's see what else it includes. So we can use Shuri's Inventor ability to hunt for some invisibility gear. So again, in Alter Ego, so get a quick reminder of what that was. Oops, I went too far. So in Alter Ego, her Inventor ability, you exhaust Shuri, search your deck for a Black Panther or tech upgrade and play it, reducing its resource cost by 2. So I'm assuming that's what this is going to be here. So let's check out Invisibility Gear. It's a 1-cost upgrade. Sure enough, it is an item, but more importantly, it is tech, so she can use this for her ability. From her ability, max 1 per player, play under any player's control, and it has an interrupt. When an enemy would attack you, discard invisibility gear. That enemy schemes instead. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So that's similar to, Nick Fury, the hero, the type of thing that he does, I think. I think it was Nick Fury who had that, where the enemies scheme instead. So this would give you a chance to choose when you want that to happen, right? It has an interrupt. When an enemy would attack you, discard invisibility gear, so it'll be gone. Then that enemy schemes instead. So you can use it strategically. It's not a forced interrupt, so you get to choose when to do that. All right, and then that leads to another one, which is Sting Operation. So that's a 2-cost upgrade. It's a preparation and a tactic. Okay, so a lot of you are probably thinking about other heroes that would like to use preparation cards. Very nice. So we got our original Black Widow. And this is max 1 per player, so you can only have one of these out at a time. Response. And notice this is a response, not a hero response. So that means you can use it either in hero form or alter ego form. After a non-elite minion schemes, discard Sting Operation, discard that minion. So you don't defeat that minion. So that means you don't trigger anything. What would you call it? Those when defeated type of responses that they're not a response, but the when defeated abilities that some of the minions have, you wouldn't trigger any of those when defeated because you're just discarding the minion. You are not defeating the minion. All right, so that's a pretty cool one, especially when you know you're facing non-elite minions. All right, let's see what else we have. Oh, and they even mentioned the whole when defeated abilities thing here. Okay, interesting. And then no further than the raft. Let's see what that is. The raft is a 2-cost support. So this one is not one that you would retrieve with her ability. Location shield, so we have another shield location here. Response, after a minion leaves play, tuck it under here. Oh, okay, so this is when you discard the minion, you could tuck it under here, or any other time you might defeat a minion as well. So you can tuck it under here from the encounter discard pile, and then you would remove threat from a scheme equal to the tuck minion's printed scheme. Oh, so the rest of this works very similarly to the previous shield location that we saw. If there are at least 4 minions here, deal 1 random minion here to any player as a face down encounter card. So if you have both of these out, you can build them up as far as you want to before having to deal with minions. So that's pretty cool. So if you don't want to deal with the minions, you can keep tucking them under the same one, or under different ones of these supports, or you could use them separately. Of course, you may not want to have both in your deck anyway, but so lots of options there for builds. All right. In addition, Black Panther leads several Wakanda allies into the fray. So we already saw a Manifold. Can let you search your deck for a useful player side scheme, such as, oh, here's a side scheme. Nice. Okay, let's see what we have. So we can see it's a 0-cost side scheme, going undercover. It's a player side scheme. Victory 0. When defeated, the defeating player looks at the top 5 cards of the encounter deck. They may add 1 scenario-specific card from among those to the victory display, then place the rest on the top and or bottom of the encounter deck in any order. So you can remove them to the victory display, which means they are removed from the game altogether. That is seriously powerful. And it does cost 4. It has 4 threat on it, so you have to remove 4 threat to trigger this. So this is something that you could either use to set up when you feel like, oh, maybe we're in a bit of danger in the future here, or just any time at all, trigger it and just use it to set up what you want to. So let's read it again. So look at the top 5 cards in the encounter deck. You add 1 non-scenario specific card from among those to the victory display. So hold on, I gotta wrap my mind around that. 1 non-scenario specific card from among those to the victory display. I'm not actually picturing non-scenario specific card. So I think that means that when you build the villain's deck, their encounter deck, there's the one where you can use, any, there's always the encounter, there's always the small encounter set that is optional, that they recommend. So those cards, maybe, I'm actually not quite picturing this. So maybe in one of somebody else's video, I'll see it, or maybe somebody will mention down below if I'm right about that, or if it's something else I'm not thinking of right now. Okay, and then to keep rereading this. So after you add that 1 non-scenario specific card from among those to the victory display, then place the rest on the top and or bottom of the encounter deck in any order. So that's actually very powerful. So in any case, all the rest of the cards, the other 4 cards, you'll be able to put where you want. So does it mean that if you don't find it, you don't get to do this? I assume. So again, we might need clarification on this. If somebody knows, they can say, and maybe somebody will say in one of the other videos. So if there isn't one, because it does say may. Oh, it says may. Okay, so no matter what, you get to do this. So this is an option. So you may add 1 non-scenario specific card. So either if you don't find one or you don't want to use one, you find one, you don't want to remove it for whatever reason, then no matter what, you can place the cards on the top and or bottom of the encounter deck in any order. So you could do that with all 5 cards then, because this is you may. You don't have to. Okay, excellent. So that gives you a lot of flexibility in case you don't actually find one of these non-scenario specific cards. Oh, the scenario itself has names. Right. So each encounter, like a villain has their encounter deck. It's, that scenario has its name. So the other decks that you add to it would be non-scenario specific. I think I'm right about that. But I would love to have somebody verify in the comments if they could. But again, I'll probably watch somebody else's video too, because I can't help but watch these videos. All right, let's move on. All right, in addition, we also have another ally here, Okoye. 4-cost ally, looks like basic. 2-cost, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 4 cost, and 3 hit points. Dora Milaje, Wakanda, has a response after Okoye uses a basic power. Resolve the special ability on another Dora Milaje ally. Oh, that's interesting. So I'm assuming we're going to see some more of these. And here's Okoye's special. So I'm assuming the other Dora Milaje allies have, each of them has their own special like this. So when one of the other allies uses one of their basic powers, a thwart or an attack, you have the possibility of triggering her special. So they're meant to work together as a team. So that's pretty neat. Choose a Wakanda hero. So here's her special. Choose a Wakanda hero or ally. They get +1 thwart and +1 attack until the end of the phase. So the Wakanda heroes or allies would include, of course, I'm sure, all of the Dora Milaje. But in addition to that, that would include, so let's go back up to our hero. So she is Wakanda, so that would allow her to take advantage of that. And then T'Challa was also Wakanda. So those are also possible targets for that ability. So once again, for Okoye, that's choose a Wakanda hero or ally. They get +1 thwart or +1 attack until the end of the phase. So when I was talking about readying for Shuri, then possibly that, so that means that could happen too. Or if you're building a deck in, say, leadership and you're readying your allies, then it can also apply to those allies. All right, let's see what else we have. And leads a squad of Dora Milaje. Oh, what do we have here? This is a 3-cost support, Dora Milaje. Wakanda. Ignore this card's resource cost if your identity has the Wakanda trait. Oh, that's cool. So that's just like the Web Warrior. The Web Warrior heroes, where they have one that works like this, where it has no cost. So if your identity has the Wakanda trait, you can play this for free. And she had Wakanda on both sides. Let me check that. Let's see. Yes, she has Wakanda on both sides. So both on her alter ego and her hero side. So she can play it on either side. All right, where was that? There it is. Okay, so let's look at the action. Exhaust Dora Milaje, resolve the special ability on one Dora Milaje ally, and heal 1 damage from that ally. Okay, very cool. So that means if you did use, for example, Okoye's ability, then you have that, or actually, if you've done any readying for somebody, you could use them again, or no matter what, you can keep them on the board longer. All right, and then that leads up to, she can always team up with her brother. All right, so a team up card, nice. Heart of the Panther, 2-cost event, Wakanda, team up with Black Panther / T'Challa and Black Panther / Shuri. Right, it's max 1 per deck. So so it has to be Black Panther / T'Challa and Black Panther / Shuri. So it can only be used for their hero identities? Huh. I'm not sure if the slash means you can choose one or the other. I don't remember any rules talking about slashes before. So I'll have to find out on rulings later about that, but I am assuming the slash means you choose one or the other. So you might have Black Panther and Shuri, you might have Black Panther and T'Challa, or you might have both being Black Panther at the same time. All right, yeah, I have a feeling that's the way it works. Max 1 per deck, hero action, search your deck and discard pile for a Black Panther upgrade. Nice, so that would benefit either hero. And put it into play. So you get to put it into play for a 2-cost, and you get to just go find it. Resolve the special ability on up to 4 Black Panther upgrades you control in any order. Nice. So that already works along with the theming of our original Black Panther for T'Challa, but also, of course, now works with Shuri. All right, so that was Heart of the Black Panther? Yes. Or Heart of the Panther, excuse me. All right, so extreme risks, what do we have going on here? So the Black Panther Hero Pack also comes with a modular encounter set. I just skimmed this as we're going right now, so I didn't notice that. So we have a modular set, joystick, has a 1 scheme, 1 attack, and 17 hit points. So that is huge. Elite, and part of the Thunderbolt, has villainous. Okay, so that kind of makes up for just being 1 scheme and 1 attack. Victory 1. So this goes in the victory display if you defeat it. Forced Interrupt. When joystick activates against you, choose. Either give her 1 additional boost card for this activation and draw 1 card. Oh, okay, so you're kind of sacrificing. So give an additional boost card, but you also get to draw a card if you choose that one. Or give her a tough status. So that happens when she activates, she gets that tough status. All right, so pretty interesting. So as a member of the Thunderbolts, let's see, what else do we have in here? All right, in addition, this encounter set includes Playing for Keeps. So Playing for Keeps, which is a side scheme, each identity gets +1 hand size. Oh, so this must be another thing where it's a trade-off. Force Interrupt. When an enemy activates, give it 1 boost card for that activation, in addition to any other boost cards it gets. Okay, so what's cool about this is a benefit to you if you're going to block with your allies. Now, I don't know if it punishes you anywhere for blocking with allies as well, but at least what we're seeing so far, it doesn't punish you for blocking with your allies, defending with your allies. So if you defend with allies, then you get all the benefits of the +1 hand size, and 3, if you're playing solo anyway, 3 threat wouldn't be that hard to get rid of anytime you're ready to get rid of it. All right, and then we have her Treachery, Extreme Risk. So Extreme Risk, Treachery. When revealed, find joystick and reveal her. If she is already in play, she engages you. Joystick activates against you. If no enemy activates this way, this card gains Surge, and it has its boost ability too, so we can see that, first of all, it already adds 2 to whatever that activation is, but it also has a boost ability. You may give the activating enemy an additional boost card if you do draw a card. Oh, it constantly has that kind of trade-off. You can choose to give them additional boost card, and if you do, you draw a card. So again, anytime, well, I guess if you have a lot of health or maybe a tough status, or you're blocking with you have an ally defending, then you can always go there with this option of drawing a card. So that's kind of cool to have that ability to do that. I could see wanting to include this encounter set into some decks to try to take advantage of that type of thing. Or to provide an extra challenge if it happens to be a situation where you're not allowed to block with allies, which would be like the Wide Awake encounter set. Is that the Wide Awake? Something Wide Awake. It's Wide Awake. I can't remember the whole title of that. I think I'm missing some of it, but maybe it's Wide Awake. I'm just not recalling right now. You'd think I'd recall. I played that like close to 500 times, so you would think I would know what it's called. All right, so let's see, and then. Oh, okay, and it also says as an Elite Thunderbolt minion, joysticks and counter set can also be used as part of the Thunderbolt scenario in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. All right, anything else? But no matter what, it's still a modular encounter set, so you can put it as in any of the sets that you wish to. All right, so we have some more art here on the prow, so let's see what we finish up with. With her impressive array of Black Panther upgrades and her versatile kit, Black Panther is a fierce hero and a fantastic addition to any team. Look forward to taking on the Agents of AIM with Black Panther when the Black Panther Hero Pack arrives in April. Awesome. So that's it. So that's very cool. I'm looking forward to this hero. It looks like another fun one. And I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. Oh, please like and subscribe if you find this, you find material like this good, or any of the discussions that I've been doing. All right. Oh, and please check out my other videos as well. You might find some of it interesting. All right. Have a good one, everybody.